Dear brothers and sisters, on this 34th Sunday in Ordinary Time 2021, we celebrate the solemnity of Christ, the King of the universe. To bear witness to the truth, this is the message that we are called to reflect on, understand, and live it in our daily life. But one may wonder, why do we celebrate this solemnity of Christ, the King of the universe, on this Sunday? Indeed, there are three reasons as to why we celebrate this feast on this 34th Sunday, which will be elaborated later on in this homily. Again, to be considered in this homily is why, what, and how is Christ's kingship unique or noble, and then by virtue of that, what does it mean to us Christians today? To begin with, kings and queens are rarely talked of except in narrating tales and stories to the young generation today. Nowadays, many countries have adopted democratic way of governance, more particularly in the Western countries. If that is the case, why do we celebrate the solemnity of Christ, the King of the universe today? Is it not taking us backwards to the olden days? Of course, no. Because there are three main reasons as to why we celebrate this feast of Christ, the King of the universe. That is, 1, pastoral reasons, 2, liturgical reasons, and finally, spiritual reasons. First and foremost, let us look at pastoral reasons. After the First World War in 1925, Pope Pius XI instituted the feast of Christ, the King of the universe. Why? Because it was opportune time to correct the notion that earthly kings don't rule justly, hence lack of peace. In turn, it is Christ, the King of the universe, who rules with equity, justice, and peace, therefore establishing the kingdom of God. It is Christ who has the kingship that is so unique and noble because he bears witness to the truth as he articulates it in the gospel passage of today. The question that remains in the minds of people is, did this approach address the pastoral concerns? Anyhow, that was the context in which the feast was instituted. But at least the church did something so as to address leadership problems as far as Christians are concerned. Second, liturgical reasons. Since Vatican II, the solemnity of Christ the King has been used to conclude each liturgical year of every circle. In a more expounded way, it crowns the liturgical year by showing that Christ, the King of the universe, is Alpha and Omega in our life. Christ is recognized as the one who reigns over all aspects in our life. Lastly, spiritual reasons. On this solemnity of Christ as King of the universe, we are reminded that his kingship is not political but more of spiritual. Why do I say so? Because there were 3 occasions when the people didn't understand the kingship of Christ. 1, after the miracle of the multiplication of bread, the Galilean crowd wanted to make Christ king, but he escaped in the mountains. John chapter 6, verse 14 to 15. Second, after raising Lazarus from the dead, the crowd at Jerusalem waved palm branches acclaiming Christ as King of Israel. Finally, in the Gospel passage, we find Pilate, a political ruler on behalf of the Roman emperor, who does not understand at all the kingship of Jesus Christ. Indeed, these three episodes form the climate through which the kingship of Christ was totally misconceived by the crowd. On the other hand, what can we learn from this solemnity of Christ, the King of the universe? Christ is the King of the universe because his kingship is based on truth. In fact, Christ before Pilate in the Gospel passage speaks of his coming to bear witness to the truth. That is what makes his kingship to be special and unique. But what is this truth that he is talking about in this passage? In biblical terms, truth is a route through which we are called to follow with trust and hope so as to obtain eternal life. In a more simplistic way, truth is the conformity of one's actions to God's law, or rather, conformity between one's life to the will of God. It is in this sense that Christ was sent to bear witness to this truth. In this regard, he is the King of all the universe because no one has ever lived in this heroic manner except Christ. Elsewhere, in this context about truth, in the Gospel of John, Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. John chapter 14, verse 6. Christ is the King, and if one is on the side of the truth, meaning after being baptized, Christ is his King and he listens to his voice as a sheep listens to the voice of the shepherd. By virtue of our baptism, we share the priestly, prophetic, and kingly ministry of Christ. Therefore, are our actions in conformity with God's will today? Let us bear witness, listen to his voice, and live according to this truth. To conclude, Christ as King has legislative powers because he gave us a new commandment, love. Christ as a King has judicial powers because he will come again at the end of time to judge the living and the dead. And finally, Christ as a King of the universe has executive powers because he will separate the blessed from the cursed at the end of time. Christ, grant us your grace so that our life may be in conformity with the will of your Father, God. Amen. Have a blessed Sunday.